Hey y'all, Kelly Whitney here with another thing older black women should tell younger black women, but they don't. The lesson here is, don't waste time trying to create understanding with someone who is committed to not understanding. I just wasted 2.5 hours watching that Cam Newton, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant interview. I'm very resentful, I'm sure you can tell, because even though I fast forwarded through a little bit of it, I still invested 2.5 hours of my life to that bullshit. Throughout the entire 2.5 hours of absolute fuckery, this person was disrespectful, dismissive, rude, and just completely incompetent, which was another kind of disrespect. It didn't appear that he had prepared at all for the interview. And men and women do this, but I think men may do it a little bit more. They will start verbal arguments with you so that you can engage with them. They're not listening to what you're saying because they don't care. They're just engaging with you for the sake of engaging with you, and they have an agenda. And the agenda is usually to create some kind of false connection with you or some kind of false camaraderie with you because they're trying to get something out of you. It could be sex, it could be a date, just spending time in your company. It could be anything. It could be the low-key perversion of seeing you get upset and animated and knowing that that was them who triggered you. When you catch yourself getting all worked up about anything and you're talking to someone who you either don't like or who you are unlikely to engage with in the future, do not engage with them in that type of conversation because it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your energy, and that's a trap. That's a distraction. And there's something else going on there. And it's easy to tell when people are not actually conversing with you with good intention. Like in that interview, Dr. Bryant did way too much talking. I don't want to just shit on him. She did not try to fairly weight the conversation. You have to toss the conversational ball back to your host at some point. Although as a host, he was completely deficient because he had absolutely either no idea how to or was incapable of controlling the conversation. At some point, she began to almost pander to him to try to give him props when she saw that his body language was reflecting that he was getting angry. It was a fucking shit show, okay? And the fact that he was arguing with her about you created 3 broken homes with all these kids, I'm not gonna get into it. He tried several times, and this was where she was excellent. She did not take the bait. When he would insult her, like, what is this? You're doing air quotes when you say Dr. Bryant. Can someone on his team please tell him that air quotes is what you do when something is not true? Thanks. Could y'all just thank you. Yeah, he tried several times to insult her and she just let that shit roll off her back like water off a duck, which I thought was very impressive and just proved that he was no intellectual match for her, whatsoever. But if you're in a situation where you recognize that someone is your intellectual inferior, or they don't even have to be your inferior, it could be that your values are wildly divergent, be very careful about investing that time and energy into conversating or arguing with that person. If there's no value, don't. This is where it comes in really handy to just say, oh, okay. And when they come, well, you don't want to talk? Absolutely not. I do not. This person is not listening with the intent to communicate, which is a byplay between 2 people or a group of people. He's just listening and hoping that somebody will validate and soothe his ego. I would have been like, please spare me. I can't with this. I'm too old. My nerves. I can't take the mic off. I got to go. Let's chalk this one up to the game. Good luck. Godspeed. Release me to the marketplace. There's no way I could have tolerated it. It was pathetic. It's a diversion, it's a distraction, it's some kind of conversational trickery. Do not fall for that. Do not waste your time and energy trying to convince somebody of something that they have absolutely no desire to be convinced of. In most scenarios where there is some verbal contention or debate or byplay, there is an understanding between the 2 parties that we're going to listen and attempt to understand each other's perspective with the intention of learning something. In this scenario, there was none of that. Whenever she would try to explore things in some depth, he would completely cut the foundation from under her and say, that's not what I asked you. Yeah, it is, but it's just more than what you asked because you asked something truly simplistic that could have been answered in less than 10 fucking words. Don't fall into that trap, girls. People will start verbal arguments with you knowing that you're gonna get upset and they just get off on it. I've read that narcissists do that a lot. Like they try to start fights with you to get you upset and and then they turn everything around on you and say, why are you so upset? This is why we can't communicate. Do you see what I'm saying? If you get into some kind of verbal situation with someone and they're trying to be argumentative or they just refuse to see your point, don't keep beating your head against the wall. Just walk. It's disrespectful for someone to engage you in conversation and then not listen to what you have to say. Men tend to do that when they are trying to soften you up and create that false sense of connection between you two. A lot of times women will fall back on being polite or trying to be nice or trying to create consensus, and then they take advantage of that. Oh, well, I hope everything worked out. Everything is fine. Notice how there's no need to touch me because we don't have a connection. You just tried to kick off some hoe shit and I deflected it. No, a great way for you to exit anything that is verbally contentious is to say, you know what? Let's agree to disagree. And then excuse yourself and go to the bathroom and join a different group. And when you see that person come, because they're going to be mad that you exited the conversation gracefully, and they're probably going to come after you, especially if they're a pervert. See them coming, go join another group and talk to them. And every time they try to follow you around, leave. Do not give them another chance to engage you. And if they touch you, remove their hands instantly. And if they, well, why did, you're a man, I'm a woman, why are you touching me? Why? It's not appropriate. Don't fall into that trap that women always seem to fall into, a feeling that you have to be polite in the face of disrespect. Don't waste time trying to communicate with people like that, because that's a trap. That's someone who has an agenda, and if you don't want to engage, walk away. This is a little thing, but it can be a big thing, because being emotionally dysregulated in this type of bullshit conversation will affect you physically, and nobody has the right to do that to you. Even if the upset or the stress is momentary, guard your peace, guard your image, guard your cortisol levels. We need to be higher functioning and high value women. So that's all I got for this video. I hope y'all got some value out of this little conversation, and I hope to see you next time.